Well, we are proceeding with planting some actual ornamental and pollinator-friendly plants. So these are Alyssum. It is a really lovely plant for attracting bees, and it's an annual, so it's something that will just grow for the year, although they do tend to reseed. Smells wonderful. So this is not something that you will harvest, but it will bring other good insects, and you do want good insects to your garden so that you can keep the bad things at bay. So what this plant will attract will be things that could in fact be little predatory wasps. Predatory wasps are good for controlling aphids, and it's just a really nice thing to kind of incorporate variety in your garden. Another thing that we're going to put in is we're going to do some herbs here. This is a Italian flat-leaf parsley. It is a biennial, I'm pretty sure. So basically you'll have a year of the plant growing, and then the second year it's going to probably end up flowering and going to seed, and at that point you won't enjoy the flavor because it gets very bitter. So there were 3 little clumps in here, and I'm kind of breaking it apart so that we can get the benefit of more volume of plant rather than have it all be. There we go. So yeah, that may have been just a hair rough, but they should survive. They should survive as long as you don't really rip the roots into complete shreds. And then we have decided that we're going to do a row of carrots right down the middle of this section of our bed. So this is going to be where we're going to plant carrot seeds. Now, carrots are one of the crops that you're going to want to plant directly into the garden or into the bed. They are not something that you would grow on your windowsill and transplant. They need to be direct sown. And we looked at the back of the package and we found that they are 76 days until they become a carrot. And now that 76 days, to be fair, is based on like optimal conditions, like weather in the 70s and sun, and so where we have cooler temperatures it could take longer. So that's just a little cautionary thing in terms of reading the label. So carrot seeds are really fine little delicate things, which is why I'm taking my gloves off, because I don't want to have this get out of control. Okay, so that is carrot seeds. All right, so I'm going to take them in just little pinches. On the packet, it explained to have the rows be, I believe it was 12 inches apart, and thin the seedlings after a couple of weeks so that they are 2 inches apart. So you want your plants, your carrots, to be no closer than 2 inches. And that's so that you've got a nice space for the root to develop. And here's one of those cases where if you don't have good soil, you are not going to get very good carrots, because if they have to work and fight to go down into the ground to grow, you're just probably not going to get very much. You may just get top growth and no actual root, which is what the whole point of it is. All right, I'm going to cover that over very lightly. I'm going to put the remainder of these seeds back in this packet. All right, there we go. All right, I'm just going to cover this very gently, and when we're all done, we will water things in, as that is a real important step to that was like the third of the inputs. We got the sun, we got the ground, the soil, and we need water too. And unfortunately, our summers tend to be pretty dry here, so when you do plan your garden, make sure that you have a water source so that you can keep things from drying out. All right, so we've got a few more plants that are not meant for consumption as food plants, but are meant for consumption when you have plants that attract insects. We've got cosmos here. Cosmos are really great for attracting bees and butterflies, and we have a flat of marigolds, and marigolds are really the classic plant that people will interplant with their vegetables. They're companion plants that actually, rather than attracting beneficials, which I do believe they do, they have a sort of a smell that actually repels some of the bad insects that you don't want to have in your garden. So marigolds are classic plant that you would put, especially when you're growing tomatoes. I'm sure people have seen marigolds in those garden vegetable beds. So we're going to plant them. We're going to plant these cosmos around the back here, and what we decided to do basically right here at the back of the bed, so our sun is coming from that direction in the south. That is a bush bean, and we know that it'll probably get at least 2 or 3 feet around, and we're going to put it at the back of the bed so that it's not going to throw other plants behind it in shadow. So that's one of the things when you plan how you're going to plant things. You want to put the tallest, largest things towards the back of the bed. So I am going to proceed with planting. The marigolds will do very last. We've got some other seeds that we are going to be tucking in on the other side. We've got turnips, and we've got a really bizarre vegetable called kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is in the same family as broccoli and cabbage, and they do well here. And one of the things about kohlrabi that's worth trying is that they tend to not get many problems with pests. Other plants, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, you'll end up kind of probably having to keep an eye on your plants because they might get aphids, or sometimes there's little caterpillars that'll come in. The cabbage moth is known for coming in and depositing its eggs in your vegetable garden, and then you'll get these little caterpillars that'll eat your produce, and you don't want that. So, but kohlrabi, for whatever reason, tends to be pretty problem-free. The only thing is then you have to decide how you're going to use it in your kitchen. So that's my only suggestion to consider. All right, and then from seed we also have a package of kale, and we have a package of turnips down there. So that's going to be it for our garden here after we get these lovely cosmos in. We've got just 3 seed packages left, and then our marigolds. And we've decided that we're going to plant a very short row of turnips. So turnips take approximately 50 days, but that's after they've germinated. You want to sow 2 to 4 inches tall and thin to 4 to 6. We don't need very many seeds here. They're very small. So here we are with our turnips. Turnips are another root vegetable, so you do want to plant them in place and not plant them and transplant them. All right, that was a little random, but we'll thin when it comes down to it. Then we're going to do a nice long row of kale. These are our kale seeds. Kale gets to be quite bushy, so that's one reason we're going to give it a nice amount of space on either side so that it can have room. and it's going to be in the middle, and then we're going to do the kohlrabi right here. Again, that's going to be a very short row. One of the things that is good to remember is to plant food that you actually want to enjoy and will, you know, be happy to have, instead of planting things that you just bought seed packets for without thinking about your use. So plant what you like.